Up next.
Come experience education with no boundaries at Ndejje University, where learning is taken beyond the confines of a lecture room. Come experience Ndejje University's Open Distance e-learning ODEL initiative. The program is flexible, reliable, and affordable with an impeccable support system to help you excel in the areas of engineering, health sciences, arts, education, social sciences, business management, basic sciences, and information technology. It will not matter where you are with the ODEL program. Your education experience at Ndejje University will be of quality. For more information, kindly visit our website at www.ndejjeuniversity.ac.ug or call 0392 730 321. Ndejje University. Come experience a holistic approach to learning.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, we wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Yo, it's your boy Alan Gamori, straight out of Ndejje University TV, and I'm here to wish you a Merry Christmas and a prosperous Happy New Year.
Ndejje University TV, your source of knowledge and wisdom.
Ndejje University joins the rest of the world in the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. Higher Education Students Financing Board awards 67 students with financial support at Ndejje University. Embrace good farming practices as well as mechanized agriculture to increase productivity, President Museveni tells Ugandan farmers. Anti-Corruption Day. Citizens are called upon to own the fight against corruption. MP Zake to face disciplinary committee next week. Uganda receives Ebola vaccines. And in sports, the Ndejje University karate team is confident ahead of the East African University Games. Welcome to Ndejje University Television. My name is LONA KASASA Jemima, and this is Live at 8. Here are the news in details. Ndejje University has joined the rest of the world in the fight against gender-based violence in a two-day conference which involved a debate between the Ndejje University students, a quiz, as well as a public lecture to educate about gender-based violence. The 16 days of activism against gender-based violence began on the 25th of November and will be concluding on the 10th of December. Agnes Nabugwao with more on this story.
Ndejje University, partnering with the Directorate of Research and Innovation together with the O3 Plus project, has organized a two-day conference involving debate, quiz, and a public lecture to commemorate the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence at Ndejje University Graduate School in Kampala. The debate and quiz competition were among Ndejje University students from both Kampala campus who were the opposers and main campus being the proposers under the motion. Women and girls are responsible for the kind of violence they experience. During the debate, students gave out their perspectives concerning gender-based violence as related on the motion. The same applied to the quiz session.
There are some failures or something that is not being done by the female gender in order to re-echo their rights and to make sure that they are heard out there. And I've just come to realize that some of these actions which they do, maybe knowingly or being influenced by many other factors, have really made them responsible for the kind of violence that they experience.
Children, women and girls are responsible for the violence they go through because the government has worked so hard to establish facilities, to establish ways to make sure the violence is reduced or the perpetrators are brought to book. But even the women themselves who are in charge of these systems are failing their fellow women. Failure of those women to act has really caused a very, very great challenge to the fighting of gender-based violence.
Rosemary Nachijoba, a lecturer from Ndejje University, while discussing about gender-based violence in institutions of higher learning, said that there is a need as higher institutions to join hands to fight against gender-based violence.
Place a particular policy that addresses gender-based violence in our institution, but also we ought to do research. We need to encourage our students to do research, to publish on gender-based violence, to sensitize communities out there. But most important, we need to conscientize the students and the staff on gender-based violence, its causes, its effects, and together we come up with the possible ways of doing prevention of gender-based violence.
In this conference, gender-based violence has been defined as a violence that is not only against women, but of all gender.
It doesn't only affect women, actually. Men and women are affected differently by gender-based violence. The only key issue is that for women, it is actually very pervasive and very prominent, and I mean it has more the women than it has affected the men. Yeah.
Lecturers have advised students who face such kind of violence not to remain silent, but instead to report to the concerned offices.
We are having different offices that can help students who have been violated in different forms. And I want to let the students know that if you're a victim of such, you go to the dean's office and then you will be helped and handled very well. In addition to that,
the conference was not only beneficial to the students, but to also the community where gender-based violence is experienced.
Celebrating gender-based violence as Ndejje University benefits the wider society and community through giving them the right information that they need to know what gender-based violence is, what it entails. We are also able to support the community to demystify some of the stereotypes that are commonly coming out of the societies to justify violence.
The conference has been conducted virtually on Ndejje University platforms, Zoom platform, and live at Ndejje University TV by gender trainers from different institutions of Ndejje, Makerere, and Kyambogo. Students who participated in these competitions were awarded with envelopes and certificates by Madame Primrose, who was the coordinator. Agnes Nabugwao, live at 8.
Ndejje University has received financial support for 67 students from the Higher Education Students Financing Board. The board released this list on Tuesday at the Media Center. Ansla Mojaru with more on the story.
On Tuesday, the Higher Education Students Financing Board released the list of loan scheme beneficiaries under the Students' Loan Scheme, which provides loans and scholarships to Ugandan students who have qualified to pursue accredited courses of study programmed in recognized higher education institutions in Uganda but are unable to support themselves financially. A total of 370 students from higher institutions of learning across the country applied for the study loans from the Higher Education Students Financing Board. The applicants are from the 24 chartered universities and 76 other tertiary institutions across the country. This is the 9th cohort since 2014, when the Higher Education Students Financing Board started giving loans to needy students in an effort by government to increase access to higher education. Out of the 3,089 received applications, 2,417 were eligible into the loan scheme. Of these, 1,859 are male, while 563 are female.
Of the 3,089 received applicants, 2,417, that's about 78%, were eligible into the scheme. Of these, 77% are male, while 23% are female. Honorable Minister, today you are awarding financial support to 625 students out of the 3,089 received applicants. Of these, 418, that is 67%, are male, while 207, that is 33%, are female. This is the number which our current budgetary allocation of 2.6 billion can support for this academic year. Honorable Minister, the number of successful loan applicants as stated is 625, representing a success rate of 20% of applications received. As mentioned earlier, 67% are male, 33% are female. Of these, 518, that is 83%, are undergraduate degree students, and the remaining 17% are undergraduate diploma students.
The State Minister for Higher Education said the hard economy has affected the planning, but when funds come in, more students will be supported.
We are going through a very difficult economic situation, but as money comes by, everybody, including those who are not being assisted today, they will be assisted. What is it that I'm saying? The commitment is there, but we have not yet realized the money that will enable everybody to get on board. But as money comes by, all these different cases will be provided for. My brother from Kitui, is it Kitui? What about those districts that have not registered even a single beneficiary? Why are these districts missing out? The body has done its part by making everybody aware. Everybody knows about the loan scheme today in Uganda. But the problem is, or has been and is still, the emphasis right now is on those who have been taking science-related programs, mathematics, engineering, technology, who went into those programs. Some of these districts, because of what they have been, they were not able to present candidates who have excelled or who have been qualified for admission in universities.
The scheme also considered 23 students with disabilities, both female and male.
In terms of policy support for persons with disabilities, we have offered support to 23 students with disabilities. Of these, 5 are female while 18 are male. The category of learners is able to pursue degrees in both science and humanities programs. Since inception, the board has supported 91 students with disabilities.
The chairperson of the Higher Education Students Financing Board said the academic year 2022-2023 they have received few applicants due to the effects of COVID-19, where some students lost hope.
The education system is still experiencing effects of COVID-19 pandemic, where in the calendar year 2021 there were no A-level examinations, but nevertheless the board has been able to receive a substantial number of applications within the targeted group, especially those A-level leavers who had not got the opportunity to join higher education institutions due to financial challenges.
A total of 12,780 learners have benefited from the loan scheme since 2014, out of whom 4,600 already graduated. The board said the list of the student loan scheme beneficiaries has been delayed pending the appointment of new board members for Higher Education Students Financing Board. Anselm Ojaro, live at 8.
Thank you very much, Anselm Ojaro. President Museveni has tasked Ugandan farmers to embrace good farming practices as well as mechanized agriculture in order to increase productivity in the agriculture sector. Grace Nabukenya with more on this story.
On Thursday, 8th December 2022, the President of Uganda, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, handed over 150 tractors to farmer groups across the country and 100 motorcycles to agricultural inspectors at Namalere National Agriculture Referral Mechanism Center. General Museveni stated that since the government is at the forefront of transforming agriculture through mechanization, Uganda should use the chance to embrace the initiative and improve agricultural productivity.
So, this is the whole thing. Agriculture is science. And it's science which was discovered by the ancient people almost 10,000 years ago, when people learned how to get seeds from the bush and plant them at home. Because in the past, they didn't know that. In the past, man was a hunter-gatherer. She has now gone to 53 tons.
The President also called upon farmers to adopt good agricultural practices if they are to benefit more from farming. His Excellency the President also commended the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries for taking a wise decision of assembling the tractors in Uganda, a move that saved the country over 40% of the total cost.
What is important also here is that they are not just importing tractors already built, they are assembling them here. They import them knocked down, then they come and assemble them here. How much does that, what percentage does that save on value? What percentage?
The Minister of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fishery, Honorable Frank Tumwebaze, revealed that currently Uganda has 4,782 units of tractors, both private and government supplied, and out of the number, about 20% of the tractors are in a functional state.
Your Excellency, the tractors you are launching today and the other equipments, including motorbikes for our inspectors, will go to some of the identified farmers, groups, institutions from all over the country. The importance of this launch ceremony is not just to hand over tractors per se, but to launch a renewed call to the country to work hard, to open more land, to plant and feed the country, the region and the globe. That is how, sir, your call for commercial agriculture, employing more, will be realized.
The minister also noted that with President Museveni's persistent guidance to the country to produce more and more, the demand for mechanization technology has increased exceptionally.
Our target, sir, is to at least reach a stock of 20,000 tractors in the next 5 to 10 years, and thus be able to achieve our other target of increasing cultivated arable land from the current 34.4% to at least 60% in the medium term. Why should people fight over land when the arable land God gave you, you've only used 34%?
The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Agriculture, Major General David Kasura Chomukama, also lauded the President for his continued guidance in promoting the development and commercialization of the agriculture sector as a pillar for middle-income achievement for all the 68% of smallholder farmers in Uganda. The event was attended by ministers, members of parliament, agricultural stakeholders, among others. Grace Nabkenya, live at 8.
Uganda commemorates Anti-Corruption Day under the theme, Citizens Must Own the War to Eliminate Corruption. It is their war. The citizens are being empowered through mobilization, education, as well as encouragement so as to take ownership of the war against corruption by demanding for better service delivery from the duty bearers. Let's have more on this story.
Today, Uganda joins the world to commemorate the International Anti-Corruption Day with celebrations in Ibanda district. Corruption has been generally understood to mean abuse of entrusted authority for illicit gain, which includes any conduct or behavior in relation to persons entrusted with responsibilities in public office which violates their duties as public officials, aimed at obtaining undue gratification of any kind for themselves or others. According to Transparency International's Global Corruption Barometer 2010, justice, law and order sector institutions like the Uganda Police Force and Judiciary are ranked among the top 3 corrupt institutions in Uganda. Uganda is placed among countries in which people reportedly most often have to pay bribes when entering into contact institutions like police, judiciary or customs. This reflects public mistrust, which heightens the crime rates and complicates the work of justice, law and order sector institutions in administration of justice in Uganda. The chairperson for Interagency Forum, who is also the Minister for Ethics and Integrity, Rose Akello Lily, presented the achievements of the anti-corruption since July 2020, aimed in the fight against corruption.
Since July 2020, especially with regard to recovery of public funds, we have about 22 agencies which work together in the fight. Some of them are here present with us, and others are being represented. Number 1, the Inspectorate of Government, IG, investigated 26 high-profile cases and directed the recovery of about 30 billion Uganda shillings, of which 9 billion was from the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries, 1 billion from UBOS, and the rest from other MDAs. The Inspector General prosecuted 86 cases and secured 34 convictions, caused the interdiction of about 45 public officers, one of whom was the chairperson of Uganda Land Commission.
Today, 9th December, Uganda commemorates International Anti-Corruption Day. Citizens have expressed their views on what can be done to fight corruption in the country.
There be many ways for the government to fight corruption. One, they should imprison those people who do corruption, and even to dismiss them from their jobs, so that this corruption should be ended in Uganda.
Because if we have love for one another, if we do respect our government and it respects ourselves too, corruption can be fought. Corruption can be fought if one has love for his or her.
Corruption is at its peak in the country. The citizens say the government is not doing enough to punish the perpetrators, that nothing is being done to fight the vice.
Or strict rules towards corruption, on how we can fight corruption, because we're just doing the talk but we're not doing the actions. The government has always been talking about corruption, but they have not reacted to the corruption since that time of the saga that happened of the Mike Mukulas and the Mama Mbabazis. Up to date, corruption is still a big issue in Uganda. So nothing has been done.
Creating awareness about corruption, sensitizing the mass are one of the strategies that the government has employed to fight corruption. Citizens urge the government to involve the youth by creating jobs.
Government should embark on employing youth and creating more employment opportunities for youth to fight corruption.
Of course, it should start up anti-corruption organizations, and most especially it should start from the youth.
At least this young generation that is coming up, we should set an example. Let us be an example to the next generation that will come. Let the youth act not according to what our parents have been doing, not according to what our our leaders have been doing. Let us be an example to the young ones that are coming that corruption is not the way to go, because the truth will set you free if we use the truth.
The International Anti-Corruption Day was designated by the United Nations General Assembly in 2003 for global observance to promote awareness about corruption, its dangers, and how to prevent and combat it.
Thank you very much, Ansela Mojaru. The Parliamentary Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline on Tuesday the 13th of December will begin its hearing into the alleged misconduct of Honorable MP Francis Zake. Zake was referred to the Disciplinary Committee over alleged disobedience to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament when the MP refused to adhere to the Speaker's orders by continuing to give submission of the alleged abduction of the opposition supporters. Frank Senabulia with more on this story.
National Unity Platform MP for Mitiana Municipality, Honorable Francis Zake, was sent to the disciplinary committee over alleged misconduct on the floor of Parliament during the 29th November plenary proceedings.
As per Rule 175 of our Rules of Procedure,
to give his submission on the alleged abduction of opposition supporters, even after the Deputy Speaker directed him to take his seat and thereafter guide on the appropriate way forward on the matter. While addressing journalists at the Parliament of Uganda on Wednesday 7th December, the chairperson of the Committee on Rules, Privileges and Discipline, Honorable Abdul Katuntu, said that as a committee they are set to start hearing Honorable Zake's disciplinary case before them.
The matter was referred to us by the House through the Speaker, and our rules say that it is only the Speaker and the House that can refer a matter to the Rules Committee.
Honorable Katuntu added that the first witness in the probe will be the technical staff of Parliament and other identified legislators who were present at the time of the incident. He promised to fairly preside over the proceedings without any biases, adding that the case will take a marathon process starting Tuesday 13th December next week.
Tubadde tutulanga akakiiko olwaleero okulaba nti ensonga eyo tuzikwataganya tutya ne tusalawo nti wiiki ejja okutandika olunaku olwokubiri, olwokusatu n'olwokuna tuba tugenda kutunula mu nsonga ezo Speaker ze yaweereza akakiiko kano. Okubeera biased tekisobola kubeerawo kubanga bye tugenda okukola byonna ng'akakiiko bigenda kubeera nga mubiraba mu bannamawulire. Namwe mujja kwerabirako oba waliwo ekyekubirira oba tewaliiwo.
The committee has already written to Honorable Zake informing him of the committee proceedings, adding that he is free to attend with his lawyers to cross-examine any witnesses the committee summons.
Era wekitiibwa Zake tumuwandikidde nga tumubuulira program bw'eneetambula n'okumujjukiza nti bw'aba ayagala okujja ne balooya be nakyo asobola okukikola. Abajulizi bonna abagenda okujja wano okuwa obujulizi ku nsonga eyo, Oweekitiibwa Francis Zake alina eddembe okubabuuza ebibuuzo.
This is not the first time that Honorable Zake is being referred for disciplinary action, as he can be remembered for facing similar charges of indiscipline early this year in February when he was sent to the same committee by the Speaker of Parliament, Honorable Anita Among, for alleged abusive tweets directed to her. Honorable Zake had allegedly replied with derogatory tweets to the Speaker after stating that she insensitively handled his torture ordeal.
As we are concerned, the only case we've ever handled with Honorable Zake, the one of social media, we should have more inductions to orient members of Parliament to act in accordance with the rules or the decorum which the rules require them to. You can disagree with the Speaker, you can disagree with the entire House, and the rules provide ways of disagreement. Because you see, we are all politicians, and you cannot have 500 politicians together and they agree all the time. We will have points of disagreement. But how do we disagree? It is also provided for within our rules.
Frank Senabulia, live at 8.
Never try to test the patience of the presiding officer.
The Sabine Vaccine Institute in the United States of America has delivered its first doses of the Ebola virus vaccine on the 8th of December. Harriet Temaya with more on this story.
Ever since the outbreak of the Ebola virus disease was declared in the central districts of Mubende, where it had spread to 7 districts of Mubende and Kansanda, and later to Uganda's capital Kampala, at least 142 cases were got and 86 recovered from the disease, depending on the statistics compiled by Uganda's Ministry of Health. The symptoms of the virus included fever, headache, diarrhea, vomiting, internal and external bleeding, and muscle pain. The Minister for Health, Jane Ruth Acheng, together with the World Health Organization Incident Manager, Charles Juguna, received the doses yesterday that has been manufactured by the Sabin Vaccine Institute in United States that are meant to fight against the Ebola virus disease. The incident manager for the World Health Organization in Uganda said that the country receives 1,200 vaccines to be given to those at a high risk of the Ebola virus.
The 1,200 doses that the country is receiving today are being or have been manufactured by the Sabin Vaccine Institute in the United States. They will be administered to those at greatest risk, and what we mean here is the immediate contacts of a person who has been diagnosed with the Sudan virus disease.
Jane Ruth Acheng, the Minister for Health, stated that although the outbreak of the virus has no cases that have been recorded lately, Uganda plans to be ready for any outbreak that may occur.
First of all, we are 9 days today, countdown. So it does not mean we will not get another case. Uganda is a country that always wants to be prepared and ready whenever any outbreak occurs.
With the discharge of the last Ebola victim from the hospital last week, Uganda has hope the virus disease has slowed down a bit. Harriet Temaya, live at 8.
And in sports, Ndejje University is one of the universities that will be taking part in the East African University Games, among the 44 universities that have confirmed their participation ahead of the East African University Games. Karate is one of the sports disciplines that the university will be taking part in from the 16th to the 21st of December at Ndejje University main campus in Luwero. Sarah Chirabo with more on the story.
Karate is a martial art developed in Yuchu Kingdom. It is now predominantly a striking art using punching, kicking, knee strikes, elbow strikes, and open hand techniques such as knife hands, spear hands, and palm heel strikes. Historically and in some modern styles, grappling, throws, joint locks, restraints, and vertical point strikes are also taught. The martial arts movies of the 1960s and 1970s served to a great increase to popularity of martial arts around the world. Karate schools began appearing around the world, catering to those with casual interests, as well as those seeking a deeper study of the art. It comes to the biannual university sports, commonly known as the East African University Games. Universities across East Africa compete in different sports disciplines, including karate. When it comes to Ndejje University, karate is one of the university-based sports. This has been proved by different awards Ndejje has won in different sports competitions at both national and international level, and the more recent is the 16 medals got from the previous 11th edition of the East African University Games in 2018 in Dodoma.
For the last 3 editions we have been winning, and we hope to do the same for this coming edition. Sure.
With less than a week for the East African University Games to kick off at Ndejje University of Uganda, the university karate team is well aware of the competitions. The assistant coach in Ndejje karate team, Michael Makoha, believes his team will successfully defend their title despite having a small number of athletes.
Our main target is to maintain what we have put before. So far, I have 13 karate players, both men and women. And right now, since we entered camp, they're in good shape. So we shall keep on maintaining the training because we train 3 times a day. And we want to see that come 17th when we're starting those games, we can defend our titles.
Karate is said to be represented by 31 teams,
17 of which are male and 14 are female. Sarah Chirabo, live at 8.
Thank you very much, Sarah Chirabo. The University Football League Organizing Committee on Wednesday held an awarding gala to honor the sportsmen and women as well as celebrate its 10 years of existence at Imperial Royal Hotel. Let's have a look.
The University Football League journey started on 19th September 2012 with 6 universities and has since unearthed a number of football talents within all universities and institutions across the country, and 9 categories were awarded as they were celebrating the 10th year existence of the University Football League on Wednesday 7th December at Imperial Royal Hotel. Derek Emmanuel Wele wins big as the University Football League celebrates 10 years. Derek played for UCU from 2017 to 2019 and helped them lift the trophy in 2019, defecting St. Lawrence University 2-0 and was voted MVP and goalkeeper of that season. Derek won the MVP award and the goalkeeper of the decade, and he currently plays Uganda Premier League for Bright Stars.
I'm very grateful to the Almighty God because I didn't see this coming very soon. It was just a surprise to me because I also want to thank him for I was among the players who played in the decade because the University League started in 2012 and me I played 2017 up to 2019. So it is first of all, it was a team effort from Uganda Christian University, where I belonged.
While at the event, the Uganda Cranes head coach thanked the organizing committee for the University Football League and asked them to continue feeding the national team.
Uganda University League practically comes in the coincidence of me, my second homecoming that time to Uganda. And I still remember from where you have started, I see where you have reached, and I wish that you reach 100 years. I have to say that many of the players of Uganda University League have played for national team. Many have been recognized and called to our first step and so-called regional tours.
Nono Sozi, the St. Lawrence head coach who won the title of the coach of the decade, also expressed his happiness towards his success.
Okulondebwanga best coach kinteeka mu kifo kirungi mu bulamu bwange era achievement y'amaanyi era ne kimpa amaanyi obuteebaka ne kimpa amaanyi okwongera okukola ennyo kuba ogenda waggulu oyita mbingi wabula okuvaayo osobola okwangula.
10 years celebration is that it has come a milestone. The University Football League has grown from the time we joined. For example, the time Bustema joined in the second lot, we have seen it grow and evolve, and it is now so much competitive.
The 10 years has enabled us to develop from 6 universities to 22, which is a very big development on our part. We have seen infrastructure development because the universities which host these events have tried to improve their facilities.
Other players that won awards of the decade include Defender of the Decade, Douglas Maganga of Nkumba, Midfielder of the Decade, Yasa Mugerwa of Nkumba, Forward of the Decade, Silaje Musindo of Mbarara University of Science and Technology, Coach of the Decade, Nono Sozi of St. Lawrence University, Team of the Decade, Uganda Matters University. At the same event, also the best players for the just ended edition that Uganda Matters University won were also rewarded. Sarah Chirabo, Alan Gamol, live at 8.
Thank you very much for watching. This has been Live at 8. Until tomorrow, same time, same station.